Yesterday, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget dropped a report, and it just nuked every retirement plan in America. Social Security's trust fund? Gone, projected to hit zero in late 2030. When that happens, federal law kicks in. Benefits get slashed automatically. 24%. That's $500 a month ripped out of every retiree's check, permanently, unless Congress gets its act together. 62 million Americans are counting on that check. The committee didn't sugarcoat it. Quote, no state would be spared from the potentially devastating effects of insolvency. But here's what the report doesn't tell you, because they're selling the panic, not the fix. There's a whole group of retirees out there who saw this headline and didn't even flinch. No stress, no panic, nothing, because Social Security was never part of their math to begin with. They built their wealth without betting on a government check, and they did it by cutting 7 specific things from their lives. Some of these will catch you off guard. A couple of them are going to sting, because you probably bought one of them this year. Why does this matter right now, in 2026? Because you've got exactly 6 years to copy what took these wealthy retirees decades to figure out. I'm Mason, and this channel runs the real math on money, not the watered-down version the financial industry feeds you. In episodes 1 through 3, we broke down why high earners still feel dead broke, why 50K is a psychological trap, and why budgeting fails while automation wins. Today we're pivoting. The Social Security crisis isn't a reason to freak out. It's a wake-up call to see exactly what the wealthy have been quietly doing all along. Let's get into it. Let's talk straight about Social Security. The math isn't complicated. This crisis isn't breaking news. Financial planners have watched this coming for decades. And the retirees who actually sleep at night, they knew too. By 2027, payouts will outpace income. That starts draining the fund's current $2.19 trillion balance. Not by getting lucky, not by pulling down massive salary, through spending decisions over decades, decisions that look embarrassingly simple when you see them. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Here's what everyone misses when they argue about this. 2 guys. Same street, same salary, same age, same neighborhood. Guy number 1 sees the Social Security headline and his stomach drops because that check was half his retirement plan. Guy number 2 sees the exact same headline, shrugs, pours another coffee. Same income, same zip code, completely different financial reality. The difference wasn't some genius investment strategy, wasn't crypto, wasn't an inheritance. That's what this video is about. Not the government's timeline, not Congress's next move, not which state gets screwed the hardest. But over 20, 30 years? They're the entire gap between panicking over a headline and not even noticing it. Let's go through them, one by one. Number 7, brand new car. I know, you've heard it before, but stick with me, because most people who hear this still refuse to run the actual math. Here's what really happens the second you drive a $65,000 SUV off the lot. By the time you park it in your garage, same day, same hour, that thing is worth about $55,000. 10 grand, up in smoke, just for the privilege of smelling the new leather. 3 years later, that exact same vehicle sits at around $39,000. You just set fire to more than a third of its value by owning it and doing a few Costco runs. But here's where it gets wild. Wealthy retirees don't avoid new cars because they can't write the check. They avoid them because they understand opportunity cost. They know what that $26,000 in depreciation actually costs them in the market. $26,000 invested at a 10% average annual return over 25 years doesn't stay $26,000. It snowballs into $282,000. That is the real cost of the car, not 65 grand, 282 grand. The wealthy buy certified pre-owned, 2-3 years old, same tech, same heated seats. But some other sucker ate the depreciation curve. Then they drive that car into the ground, 10, 12, 15 years. And the cash that didn't go straight to the dealership? That's the money-making Social Security completely optional. The wealthy retiree rule on cars is dead simple. Never buy the depreciation. Buy the car after some other guy paid 30 grand to break it in. Your retirement account is what separates a full-blown panic attack over the 2032 headlines from not giving a damn. Number 6, extended warranties and junk insurance. This scam is so insanely profitable that big box stores literally role-play the pitch with their cashiers. You buy a fridge, you feel great about the deal. Then at checkout, the rep hits you with the concerned face, the one that looks like a doctor delivering terrible news. Sir, want to add the 5-year protection plan for just $249.99? Here's what they won't say at the register. Extended warranties are almost 100% pure profit. If these things actually paid out, they wouldn't push them harder than a used car salesman with rent due. The math is brutal. Most products fail in year 1, which the manufacturer covers for free, or they die years after your paid warranty expires. Wealthy retirees figured this out decades ago. Their rule? Insure the catastrophic. Self-insure everything else. Great health insurance, bulletproof homeowners coverage, real liability protection. But they do not pay $14.99 a month to insure a damn toaster oven. They absolutely do not buy mortgage life insurance or random death riders. These products exist for one reason: to extract cash from people who confuse being responsible with buying every policy placed in front of them. Here's the reality. Insurance companies print money by selling you protection against things that probably won't happen, and they price it so they win either way. Wealthy retirees know the game. If you can afford to replace it outright, do not insure it. The cash you save on junk warranties and garbage riders, that goes straight into the market, compounding quietly toward a retirement that doesn't rely on the government. Number 5. Trendy Home Renovations. This one is everywhere, and it is vaporizing retirement accounts faster than you think. Open concept everything: quartz counters, barn doors, shiplap. That exact shade of gray from 2018 that already looks like a bad time capsule. Wealthy retirees know a hard truth about home trends. A truth most people don't figure out until closing day. Design trends cycle every 5 to 7 years. That $80,000 kitchen you're building right now? It's going to look dated before your mortgage even adjusts. The math hurts. A mid-range kitchen gut costs $40,000 to $80,000. When you sell, you're lucky to claw back 60 to 70% of that. You are literally torching $15,000 to $25,000 every single time you chase a trend. Do that 3 times over a 30-year period, and you just handed Home Depot the price of a brand new car, plus the 25 years of compound interest you gave up. Wealthy retirees renovate for 2 reasons. 1. Functional necessity. The roof leaks, the plumbing is from 1962, fix it. 2. Genuine structural improvement. Not because your cabinets are out of style, because they are broken. They do not rip out a perfectly good bathroom just because some clown on HGTV said matte black is the new farmhouse chic. Look closely. The wealthiest retirees usually live in homes that haven't had a major facelift in 20 years. And their brokerage accounts look a whole lot better than the neighbors who remodel every decade. Now, the next one on this list, it's going to hit different, because almost everyone watching this right now is guilty of it. Number 4, luxury status goods. This one requires a massive psychological shift, one most people completely miss. When people first start making real money in their 30s and 40s, they hit the logo phase. Everything has to scream wealth: the designer belt, the luxury watch, the handbag with a logo so big you can read it from across the street. But watch what happens to BP. Actually wealth. Somewhere in those accumulation years, a switch flips. They cut the logos out completely, because real wealth doesn't need a billboard. Warren Buffett still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Mark Zuckerberg drives a Volkswagen. These guys could buy literally anything on the planet. They just stopped caring. The only purpose of a $400 designer t-shirt is to prove to strangers you can afford a $400 t-shirt. Once your net worth is bulletproof, you stop giving a damn what strangers think. That right there, that's the secret. Wealthy retirees buy quality, not branding. They will gladly drop $100 on a well-made navy blazer that lasts 20 years. They will not drop $400 on a hoodie just because some luxury brand slapped their logo across the chest. Here's the brutal truth about status symbols. The only people impressed by your designer gear are the people who can't afford it either. Real wealth is silent. It quietly compounds in index funds, while wearing a $30 t-shirt from Costco. Choosing quality over hype frees up thousands a year. Thousands that get dumped straight into the portfolio that makes Social Security completely irrelevant. Number 3, expensive hobbies. This is where retirement crashes and burns for a massive chunk of people. And the mechanism is identical every single time. You grind for 35 years, you sacrifice, you delay gratification. You finally hit retirement and think, now I'm going to do all the stuff I never had time for. Then you proceed to pick the most absurdly expensive hobbies on the planet. Golf. Where a decent set of clubs runs $2,000, the membership is $15,000 a year, and every round hits you for $100 before you even buy a beer at the clubhouse. Boating. A decent setup runs $50,000 to $80,000. Add storage, maintenance, fuel, and insurance, and you've basically taken on a second mortgage. Let's run the actual math here. A retiree who chooses golf and boating as their primary hobbies will bleed $25,000 to $50,000 a year just supporting those habits. A retiree who chooses hiking, gardening, reading library books, and pickleball? They might spend $500 all year. Over a 25-year retirement, that's the difference between leaving your kids a $1 million inheritance and asking them to pitch in for your property taxes. Wealthy retirees aren't anti-hobby. They're just ruthlessly strategic about them. They pick activities that cost next to nothing, or that scale at a genuinely reasonable rate. Walking, hiking, gardening, which actually feeds you. Woodworking with tools they already own. Fishing from a $300 kayak instead of a $300,000 yacht. Hobbies are supposed to relax you. If your hobby triggers a panic attack every time you open your credit card statement, that isn't a hobby. That's a financial obligation with extra steps, and it's one of the quiet reasons a Social Security cut will devastate some retirees while others don't even flinch. But everything I just covered? It's nothing compared to number 2. This next one is silently draining hundreds of thousands from retirement accounts, and most people have zero idea it's even happening. Number 2, percentage-based financial advisors. This one's going to make some people squirm, but it's critical, and the math is genuinely brutal once you see it. Wall Street has done a masterful job brainwashing people into thinking they absolutely need professional portfolio management, or their retirement will instantly implode. Look, some advisors are genuinely worth every dollar. Some have saved clients from catastrophic life-ruining mistakes. But the standard fee model? Quietly skimming 1% off your entire portfolio every single year, regardless of performance, regardless of what they actually did? It's silently bleeding retirement accounts dry across the country. Let's run the math. You've got $1 million saved for retirement. A 1% advisor fee sounds like nothing. A buddy of mine, great guy, retired teacher, told me his advisor charges only 1%. He said it like he was getting a steal. I grabbed a napkin and ran the 25-year math for him right there at dinner. His face went white. 10 grand a year, 1%. Who cares, right? Wrong. Over a 25-year retirement, with compounding factored in, that tiny 1% fee will eat between $300,000 and $500,000 of your nest egg. $500,000 gone, just so some guy in a suit can call you twice a year and say, stay the course, the market will bounce back. Wealthy retirees figured this out a long time ago. The savvy ones either manage their own money using dead simple low-cost index funds, which honestly takes about 20 minutes a year, or they use a fee-only fiduciary. A fee-only fiduciary charges a flat hourly rate, or a flat annual fee. Maybe $300 to $500 an hour, maybe a couple grand a year. You pay them when you actually need specific advice. No silent percentages, no invisible annual drain compounding against you for 2.5 decades. The math is brutally simple. The less you pay in fees, the more you keep. The more you keep, the longer your money lasts. The longer your money lasts, the more irrelevant a Social Security cut becomes. If you're paying 1% or more of your portfolio annually to an advisor, do yourself one favor after this video. Run the actual 25-year compounding numbers on what that fee is costing you. The result will probably rewrite your entire retirement strategy. And number 1, emotional purchases. This is the heavy hitter. The one that torches more retirements than bad investments and medical bills combined. And it's the one almost nobody talks about. Why? Because it requires a level of raw self-honesty most financial content is terrified to touch. Emotional purchases are anything you buy because of how you feel, not because you actually need it. And retirement, as it turns out, is an absolute minefield of emotional triggers. You're bored on a Tuesday afternoon, so you order something on Amazon just to feel a pulse. You're a little lonely, so you book a $5,000 cruise because your buddy posted vacation photos and it looked like a quick fix. The grandkids visit, and you blow $400 on plastic garbage they'll forget about before the car ride home. You drive past a dealership and your brain runs the classic script. I worked my whole life, I deserve this. Or your buddy gets a pool installed, and suddenly your perfectly fine backyard feels inadequate. That's not logic. That's your brain hijacking your bank account. These aren't moral failures. They're completely predictable, hardwired human responses to emotional states. But they are also the primary mechanism quietly hollowing out retirement accounts. Wealthy retirees develop what I call emotional spending immunity. They don't shop when they're bored, they have actual hobbies for that. They don't buy things to feel loved. They invest time in actual relationships. They don't spoil grandkids with expensive junk. They give them something way more valuable that never hits a credit card statement. And the single most powerful question they've trained themselves to ask before swiping their card? Will I actually care about this in 30 days? That's it. That's the entire system. Try it once. Next time you're about to click Buy Now at 10:30 p.m., pause for 3 seconds. Ask the question. You'd be amazed how often the answer is an absolute no. And how much that single 3-second pause is worth over 25 years. Because here's the hard, uncomfortable truth about the Social Security crisis. The biggest threat to your retirement isn't the 2032 trust fund depletion. It isn't Congress failing to act. It isn't inflation or the stock market or healthcare costs. The biggest threat to your retirement is you, on a random Wednesday afternoon, feeling bored or lonely or anxious, and reaching for your wallet to make those feelings disappear. Wealthy retirees figured out somewhere along the way that money can't actually fix feelings, so they stopped trying. And that single realization compounds silently for decades. It builds the kind of financial independence that makes a 24% Social Security cut feel like background noise instead of a life-altering disaster. Let's bring this all the way back. Social Security's trust fund, done in 2032. If Congress sits on its hands, 62 million Americans face a 24% benefit cut. That's $500 a month. Gone. That's real. That's happening, and you can't control it. But here's what you can control right now. You can stop buying depreciation. Stop buying cars, renovations, and junk where someone else already took the first-year hit. You can stop insuring crap you can afford to replace. You can renovate a kitchen so it actually works, not because it looks good on some Pinterest board you follow. You can stop buying logos, start buying quality. You can pick hobbies that cost you time and sweat instead of 30 grand a year. You can look hard at what your money guy is actually costing you over 25 years. And you can build a system, even a 3-second check that asks, will I still give a damn about this in 30 days before you hit checkout? None of this is rocket science. None of it requires a massive income. None of it requires a financial advisor, a bespoke account, or sitting on hold for 45 minutes to set up. The retirees living stress-free at 75 and 80 didn't get there because they hit the lottery. They got there by quietly avoiding the garbage everyone else was buying. While their neighbors were financing SUVs they couldn't afford and remodeling the kitchen for the third time, they were keeping the old Toyota running, leaving the kitchen alone, and watching the math compound. It looks boring, but picture this for a second. You're 75. It's a Tuesday morning. You wake up when you want, not because an alarm told you to. Your bills are covered. Your portfolio is healthy. You're not checking the news to see if Congress saved your retirement. That's what boring buys you. You know what's actually boring? Greeting people at Walmart at 76 because a $500 a month cut blew up your retirement. You've got 6 years before the 2032 cliff. That's 72 months of decisions. They compound in exactly one of two directions. Every dollar that dodges a depreciation trap, an idiot warranty, a status flex, or a 10:30 p.m. emotional impulse buy is a dollar that builds a retirement that doesn't rely on a dying government check. Pick one thing from this list. Just one. Start today. Before you click away, here's your action stack. 1. The next car you buy? Certified pre-owned. 2 to 3 years old. Let the first guy eat the depreciation. 2. Audit your insurance. Every single policy. Cancel anything that isn't covering a catastrophic loss. 3. Before you sledgehammer a wall, run the resale math. If it's just for looks, wait. If the roof is caving in, fix it. 4. Find one logo-heavy brand you buy. Ask yourself honestly, what is this communicating and who am I trying to impress? 5. Audit your hobbies. Run the annual cost. If the number makes you sick, that's money you just stole from your retirement. 6. Paying a percentage-based advisor? Run the 25-year compounding cost of that fee. Then look up fee-only fiduciaries instead. 7. Take a Post-it note. Write, will I still care about this in 30 days? Stick it right next to your mouse. These aren't sacrifices. These are the moves that turn a $500 a month Social Security cut from an absolute crisis into a minor speed bump. The math is right there. The question is if you've got the spine to run it. If this changed how you view the 2032 deadline, hit the like button. It grows the channel and tells me to keep running the real math. If you haven't seen episode 1, where we ripped apart the 6 money traps keeping high earners broke, go watch it. That's the foundation for everything here. Subscribe if you want the truth. Because when the government's retirement promise quietly evaporates, the people who ran the math early won't even notice. I'm Mason. See you in the next one.